Brian, Rob, J. King, and Sam Packard present Still Poddable, Still Poddable, Boston Celtics, Still Poddable, Still Poddable. Oh yeah! Still Poddable, Still Poddable, Boston Celtics, Still Poddable, Still Poddable. And a 19. Jalen Brown, D. White, Crazy Joe. Still Poddable, Still Poddable. When Tatum coming back. Still Poddable, Still Poddable, Still Poddable, Still Poddable. Boston Celtics, Still Poddable, Still Poddable. Oh yeah!
Come on, you don't get the next generation. Guy wants to lose.
Let's go, you motherfucking Celtics. Let's go, baby. Let's go. You motherfucking Celtics, let's go.
Let's go, baby! Welcome back to Still Poddable, the best Celtics podcast here on Al Gore's internet. You know, people, I might just say platitudes like that when introducing their podcast, but we are the best Celtics podcast. We have the two of the best beat reporters who have been covering the Celtics for more than 10 years, respectively, from The Athletic, the kid that got the letter himself, Jay King, ladies and gentlemen, joining us live from Disney World as he's getting ready to take in 2 games against the Orlando Magic. We also have the great Brian B. Robb from MassLive.com, not at Disney World. And I am Sam Jam Packard, not a beat reporter, but just a guy who's kind of been hanging around the team for 10 years. We are Still Poddable. We are a constant Celtics podcast. We got 2 free episodes for you every single week. You can hear us on the CLNS network. You can also find us on Spotify, on Apple. Part of that CLNS media network makes this show brought to you by Prize Picks. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you make your first $5 lineup. But we're not just 2 podcasts today. We're podcasts for you every single day of the week because you get bonus content on the Patreon. If you want Celtics talk, if you want a Celtics fan community, go to patreon.com/stillpoddable. We got game recaps. We got behind-the-scenes footage. We've got constant Celtics coverage for you from the 3 of us and a great little community where you can chat with the other Still Poddable fans throughout the game on the Patreon app. We really appreciate everyone who's part of the Patreon community. Highly recommend you join today. That is patreon.com/stillpoddable. Now,
that was your best intro ever. That was professional.
Hey, that's a professional sports fan here. I appreciate it. Jay, you got to give us a little bit of a Disney World update before we dive into these Boston Celtics. It seems like you had a blast today.
It was one of the best days of my life. It's so cool to see your son just have so much fun. And he didn't really know he's a year and a half old. He doesn't really know exactly what's going on. But we went into the Little Mermaid ride, and he was just enchanted, man, like just living the dream. We had dinner at some restaurant, and the Beast came around from Beauty and the Beast, and he was like wide-eyed, and then the Beast left, and he was like looking back and forth trying to find him. It was something else. The whole day was just awesome. We went to the parade. He was just locked in. He had so much fun that I couldn't help but have so much fun just watching him have joy, man. It was the coolest, one of the coolest days of my life. It was truly magical.
Does it hurt at all knowing that he's not going to remember it ever?
No, because I will. And I'll remember how he took it in. It's not like I don't care about the Disney World rides we went on today. I don't care about any of that stuff. The only thing I cared about was seeing him have so much joy, and I'll be able to remember that. And whether he does is immaterial to me, because seeing him have that much fun, seeing him be just on cloud 9 all day, it was awesome. It was the best.
All right, final follow-up question. What is the name of the character that turns into the Beast? Do you know?
Gaston.
Well done, sir. Well, so the man knows his Disney. He's a Disney World pro.
I'm a Disney World aficionado now.
Right, live from the business center. That's the J. King difference, folks.
Are you going back? Are you going back Saturday? What's the plan?
I'm not going back. The Celtics have two games and a practice this weekend, so I will be I will be working,
family's going back.
unfortunately. Katie and Grady will be going back tomorrow with one of Katie's friends who lives nearby, and we turn it into a family vacation. What in what world do the Celtics have 2 straight games in Orlando? When I looked at the schedule, I was like, this is awful. I'm going to be in Orlando for 4 straight days. And then Katie was like, why don't we just turn it into a Disney World vacation? And this is the first work trip Grady's ever come on with me. It was awesome. This was a fantastic day.
It's the only thing you can do to make that long weekend in Orlando at all worth it. I've been to that Orlando. It's a terrible town. Oh, but we're here to come and talk about the Boston Celtics. Last time we talked, we kind of did a check-in of things that are most important about this Celtics season. Then they had 2 kind of interesting games. A bad loss to the not to the Orlando Magic. We were just talking about the Orlando Magic. A bad loss to the Utah Jazz, where they just couldn't hit a shot. Historically bad shooting performance. And then they absolutely destroyed the Washington Wizards. B-Rob, I think the one kind of new thing to emerge in those games was just Jordan Walsh came in and played pretty high energy and had a solid, what was his first performance of the year. Like, what are we? Does that mean he's going to get a chance in Orlando? What are we to make of this Jordan Walsh performance? And does he get like more of a chance considering just the athleticism he brought to the court on Wednesday night?
Yeah, that was was the odd man out for this entire season up until that game, because I think he played 24 minutes entering Wednesday night, and 18 of those came in the route that was the Rockets game. And defensively, he brought a lot to the table in that game. He got after in the glass. He was able to bring some ball pressure up and down the court in the rotation of wings, hit a 3 even. And the big thing, I think, Packard, is like right now when Joe Mazzulla is looking at these options off the bench, and we'll get to these numbers later, like the bench bigs are not bringing much to the table. So why not get more looks at these wings? And Walsh has certainly played big enough in that game and versatile enough where you can play smaller and kind of get away with it if he's going to play that way defensively and be like that on the glass. So that was it was against the Wizards. It was one game, but it was certainly a case to be made that he has earned more playing time this weekend and then potentially on. We'll see how he fares in Orlando.
It just seems like they need his athleticism, or like it could benefit from it, because they're just fouling a bunch and getting beat on the glass. And so like I was just impressed. He really just went up, and I think he just like snatched 2 rebounds where it looked like he was just the highest leaper there, and he wanted that. And so like to bring that level of physicality is something I feel like the Celtics are missing. Jay, like, do you think, I don't know, I feel like I wouldn't be shocked if Jordan Walsh didn't play at all in the next 2 Orlando games, just because with the way Joe Mazzulla is like using the bench at this point.
There's never a consistency to it, I would say, so far. And even with Josh Minott, even with guys who have earned their role, Nimi has not played more than 26 minutes in a game yet.
We'll get to that.
Nimi and Josh Minott have been godsends to a team that needed players at each of those positions. And Joe, I still think for him, right now it's a lot of building mentality. It's not just what will help us tonight, it's what is going to help us for the rest of the season and for the years to come. Because, I mean, we saw it the other day, Celtics were up 21. Minott was on his way to a career-high 21 points, 3:54 left in a blowout. And Joe, first of all, calls a timeout, comes out on the court and verbally assaults Josh Minott. Maybe verbally assault isn't the right word. Maybe it was a little less than that. And then follows him toward the Celtics bench and gives him an earful the whole time. And it's like, this dude has played a great game. He has been fantastic for you all season. And you're going to light him up at the end of a blowout win? Yeah, because that's Joe Mazzulla, and he wants to turn these guys into killers. And he's having machine gun sounds at practice apparently, which is a wild move.
Whatever.
Is that the most expected Joe Mazzulla thing ever?
Yeah, just general war and killing sounds. I'm surprised there's not like images of like beheadings and stuff like that, like put on the practice wall. I wouldn't be
Well,
surprised
who
if-
knows?
Wait, actually,
We haven't been told it hasn't happened.
right? Are there gonna be booby traps on like the floor? Like someone's gonna like I think that's like the next.
At
the
what
next
point is
frontier.
just there's just like slaughtered pig's blood like all over the court, and it's like this is the way you guys have to play, or else you're gonna get slaughtered. Like everything is anticipated. For those who didn't hear this, Derek White was talking about on his podcast that they were just going through drills, and Joe was like, "Play the music," and they just played the sounds of machine guns firing without any real explanation after that. Like, how startling is that if you're trying to practice defensive slides and you're just
What
hearing
would
that?
your reaction be if you were a player? Would you be like, "This is awesome. Our coach
No.
is trying to get us to be badasses," or would you be like, "Man, what's the deal with Joe? Like, why does Joe always turn everything into war games?"
I think you
Joe
just-
being Joe at this point.
Yeah, you just shrug your shoulders and be like, our coach is an absolute lunatic, and I guess we're going to have to listen to this while we do defensive slides.
But it's actually this is actually really fascinating to me because I think if most coaches came and played machine gun sounds at practice, then players would roll their eyes, they would go home, they would tell all their friends like, "This coach is a dumbass. What am I doing here?" But Joe has cultivated an environment where it plays, and he's cultivated relationships with all of the players where they know where he stands, they know what he wants from them, they know that when he does that stuff, he means well. I actually think it's super impressive that Joe can do stuff like that, and guys don't just one out. Like, I really believe that's one of the most impressive things because these are NBA players. These are guys making millions and millions of dollars. And if they decided as a team, what the hell is the deal with this guy, he'd be gone. But instead, he's totally authentic to himself, and he's created the relationships with these guys where they either go along with it or they buy into it or whatever. They're sold. And I actually think it's really impressive by Joe because I don't think there are many coaches around the league who could play machine gun sounds and the players would be cool with it.
He's earned that capital, like I said, from building those relationships, and then he won. Like he's coming off a title 2 years ago, so that helps too. So you
He
put
won.
those things together.
He won in the year he was most authentically himself. Like the first
Right.
year, he was still trying to put everything together, and then he came back that next year. It's like, I'm going to be crazy Joe Mazzulla. I'm going to be a lunatic, and it led directly to a championship. And so I think it's really hard for like people to question him, and I think it helps that he got so much buy-in, some like veterans the year before. Like he was screaming at Minot, he was screaming at Nemi in the fourth quarter when the team was up 24 and 21 respectively. They watched him win a championship. Like, who are those guys to like talk back or like to check out at that moment?
And everything Minot said after the game was like, yeah, I believe what this guy is telling me. He said basically, I was playing poorly on defense, and he was energetically telling me so, but that's all he was doing was letting me know just how bad I was on defense. And then Nemi was kind of like, yeah, Joe's gonna be tough on me. He's gonna be hard on me, and I like it. That's what drives me. Minot said he was like, we don't let up. We don't let up. Like these guys, honestly, there would be so many players in the NBA in so many different situations in the NBA where guys would say, this guy's a lunatic. Get me out of this situation. I don't want to play for this man anymore. And these guys, day after day, Joe does this stuff, and they're like, give me more. Give me more. Feed me more. They're bought in.
I mean, I think it helps if you're Nemi and you're Minot and you're getting a little bit more burn. It's going to be interesting to see if like Walsh stays engaged or Baylor Shireman, but they don't have really like a clout to kind of check out at this point.
But even Minot's reaction to being like semi-permanent starter at this point, He was like, I actually think that nothing is promised and this could all end tomorrow because it could all end tomorrow. And that's what Joe's trying to
That's the
stress
Joe
on these guys.
mentality.
Joe is trying to tell these guys, like, you could be a DMP. Like, if you screw up, you could sit on the bench. You can sit right next to me. It doesn't matter if we're up 20. I'm going to let you hear about it. And the guy's like, yeah, this could all go away tomorrow because Joe showed me that it really could.
It's the reality of the roster too, Jay. It's like half these guys are on minimum
100%.
contracts, half these guys are 100% playing for their lives. So it's
He
like,
has a team option.
It plays
for
into
next year.
exactly. You have team like literally Joe can do this to because like it plays into exactly the type of mentality he wants to build, and then you already have the buy-ins from all the holdovers. So it's like it works perfectly from this standpoint. And Joe obviously has the resume now and just has the relationship with these guys to feel comfortable being able to do this and have it kind of roll off their back. Again, we're 9 games in. It's also going to be like, we'll see what it looks like in a couple years from now if he's like 3 or 4 years removed from the title. But like certainly for this year, for what the roster looks like, for what is on the line for a lot of these guys, period. Like this is the perfect experiment for Joe to kind of build this type of system and obviously build the type of effort and in place that he's trying to build up over the last, the first 10 games of the year here.
It's so funny that Derek White was the one who shared the machine gun story because Derek White is like
The most mild-mannered, least
so
machine gun guy.
relaxed, like so far away from machine gun thoughts. And I can only imagine what Derek White was thinking as he's in practice and machine gun noises start going off.
He seemed nonplussed by it. He didn't seem bothered whatsoever. It's like, that's just what practice is with Joe.
Maybe he's got PTSD. Maybe that's what's holding back his shooting. I don't know.
That's something to be explored. We've mentioned Minot and Nemi a lot. There's an outrageous stat that we're going to get to after this break, along with 4 other stats that B-Rob has prepared. But first, we're going to hear from our good friends at Prize Picks.
You got the read, Packard?
Oh, I'm supposed to be reading during this. I thought they just talked for me. That's good to know. Prize Picks is the #1 place where you can get hard-hitting football action. Football is even better with Prize Picks. Weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. The Patriots are good again. They're going to be playing the Buccaneers. Drake May is amazing. MVP Drake May. And so if you want to root for Drake May and have some fun, go to Prize Picks, where it's the only app that uses stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. So if you want more on Drake May's passing yards, rushing yards, touchdowns, now you can pick them all in the same lineup, only on Prize Picks. Prize Picks also offers you flexibility, so you can use Flex Play. So where you get paid even if one of your picks misses. If you want the biggest payouts, you can go to the Power Play. No matter what you play, Prize Picks is a great way that puts your takes to the test. Download Prize Picks today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. All right, so I had no idea I was responsible for the talking part of that, but I'm glad we were able to recover.
Who would know that the host was supposed to?
We had new visuals.
Thing.
I thought the visuals would come with audio, but who knew? All right,
that made for a better read, honestly. That's authentic.
It was authentic, and the folks at home didn't have to watch me read it, so I think that's an improvement as well. Right now, we're going to do the second segment of the show, Stats with B-Rob.
Stats from B-Rob.
I totally forgot that was the intro to it. B-Rob, you prepared 5 key statistics in the first 9 games of the season. Yes.
Yeah, so let's start with the big one here. Going around the pre-show chat here, the Nemi Minot net rating is a plus 32, which I believe is the second highest rating amongst high usage lineups in the NBA this year, just trailing Bam and Jaime Jaquez down in Miami. And I don't know, guys, they got to this lineup, in game 4? And now it's one thing to be like, oh, they found something that works here, but 122 offensive rating, 90 defensive rating, so elite on both ends thus far. A couple of those numbers, Jay, I feel like were, benefited from blowouts. But by and large, this is easily.
We lost B-Rob.
The
lineups were.
There. Jam, are you with us still?
We lost you, B-Rob. Jay's been with us the whole time. It's because the lineups are too powerful. But Jay, what are you seeing from Minot and Nemi? I feel like a lot of it is just defensive rebounding. They could end possessions finally.
So to me, it's not as much solely about them as much as that they complement the Celtics' best players really well. And right now, all of the Celtics' best players are perimeter guys, and they need length, they need athleticism, they need rebounding, they need defense, they need Minot and Keita. And I mean, beyond Keita, the front court has been just a challenge so far. It's been a real challenge. Luka Garza needs defensive help. Xavier Tillman needs offensive help. They have not found a solution at backup center that works. When Minot's not out there, they're too small, not athletic enough. When Keita's not out there, they're too small, not athletic enough. And those guys just make it all work. They complement the best guys really well. And that, to me, is the most important piece, why all those numbers are so great. It's not just that Josh Minot and Nemi have played great. It's just they're exactly what the other guys need. They set screens, they get out in transition, they create turnovers, they block shots, they protect the rim, they give you energy, and all the other guys feed off of that, and it allows the other guys to have easier jobs. And I just think, moving forward, it's so important that Nemi, that Minot have emerged, because this isn't just for this year. These guys are going to fit well for a while. Josh Minot is 22. He's 22 years old. He's barely beginning his career, really. He hardly played at all in Minnesota. And you can see he's the 2 free throws that he missed in Philadelphia, they were probably the first free throws that have ever really mattered in his entire career. That really had game weight on it. And he's just getting up to speed, and I think it's so promising that he's still learning things, he's still figuring things out. His shot comes and goes, and still, no matter what, he's been so helpful to the Celtics and fits exactly how they want to play.
3 above the break threes against the Wizards, and 2 in the first quarter when they were about to risk being down 20 after that. That was
while he was playing center, by the way, which is a wrinkle that they could get to more often. We'll see.
I wanted to talk about the center rotation. As you mentioned, they haven't had a good backup option. We've seen these kind of Minot at the 5 lineups, but B-Rob.
That leads to stat number 2 here.
Stat number 2.
Do it. Stat number 2. We'll just go. I'm gonna give you 2 stats right now. One, you guys just brought up here. Minot played 14 minutes at center versus the Wizards. In related news, the net ratings for this non-Nemi bigs on the season: Tillman at -7 in 60 minutes, Boucher -8.2 in 48 minutes, and last and maybe least, we'll see, Luka Garza -8 net rating in 104 minutes. And put that in perspective, pretty much everyone else on the roster is at about even or better.
And I want to just qualify this, because if you just started any of those guys and had them play with Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and Jaylen Brown, those numbers would shoot up.
Fair.
Now, that said, they're still ugly numbers, and it's not all about who they're playing with. Part of it is just that the front court right now behind Nimi and Minot has been suspect.
It's borderline unplayable.
What- Does that mean that Nimi needs to play like more? He's averaging what, 24 minutes a game? Like, does that need to be up closer to 30? And this is me saying this. I have been one of the bigger Nimi detractors, but it is just so much noticeable. Like, when he's on the court, they foul constantly. They don't get defensive rebounds. Like, he is a legitimate 7-footer. Turns out that's useful in the NBA. My one concern is that Nimi does not have the fitness right now to play 30 minutes a game because that man's gassed constantly.
So my guy Pack Attack, his name's Pack Attack on Twitter, hit me up the other day. And obviously, I'm not watching the broadcast. He's like, they got to stop interviewing Nimi
at halftime with
during
Abby.
the game.
Was he
because
huffing and puffing?
He can't breathe.
He asked
just
Abby to
cannot
repeat a
breathe.
question. He asked Abby, he's like, you have to say that again because he was just not like there because he was just gassed.
I was dying. I almost went back and watched. I forgot to go back and watch the interview, but I think that's part of the reason why he hasn't played more than 26 minutes per game. Is he literally just has to get used to playing more minutes. He's never played big minutes in his life. He was a 4th-string center last year. For center, like center minutes are tough. You're covering up a lot for your teammates on defense. You're going and sprinting and screening all the time on offense. Those are tough minutes, and you're also just bigger, carry more weight. They're harder minutes. So I would guess that's part of the reason why Nimi, but they have to work him up to the point where he can play 30 minutes, he can play 32 minutes, whatever, because it's very clear that he is a key for them and that his athleticism, his activity, his length, it all really, really matters. It felt like in that Washington game, they made a conscious effort to hit him on the roll more often. Like that was part of their film session. It was like, you guys are missing Nimi on the rolls. I think that's been pretty consistent for much of the season. Is like they're just not finding Nimi when he's pretty open. And against Washington, he had a smaller guy on him. They lobbed it over the top. They found him a number of times, and he ended up going 7 for 7, 15 points. Had another really, really promising game. So they need more Nimi. Packard's a convert.
Mark the tape. Mark the tape right here.
I got 2 eyes. I can see like the gravity he has on offense when they do hit him on the roll. Like it opens up shooters. It opens up a vertical threat, and they just don't get destroyed as much as they do on the glass. That's despite him giving up the offensive rebound to Nurkic to kind of lose the Jazz games where he really didn't do a great job of boxing out there. But like there's no other option on the court. Like Garza is what, 6'8"? Like the Tillman is 6'8". Like they just don't have the size. Size is important in basketball. He's the only option. So they look at the net rating with him and Minot. Look at the ratings with all the other backups. Like the proof's in the pudding, B-Rob.
It is. And so now, I mean, he's going to max out at 25 to 30 minutes a game. Like, period. Like, I think that's...
I need him to ramp up to 30. I need him to be closer to 30.
If he can get to 30 by midway through the season, that's amazing. Like, he'll eventually get there. Certainly, 25 is a reasonable goal right now when he's at 22 a game. In my mind, like, that's 3 to 5 minutes there you're going to get. The bigger question to me right now is, like, is this Minot at center adjustment against the Wizards? Is that going to become a thing or not? And the reason why I think you might want to try it more is because he's probably a better defensive rebounder than any of your other bigs on the bench right now. I know Boucher, like Garza is really struggling there. Boucher has been better, but they just can't find a rhythm with him at all, I feel like, when he's been in so far. So he's probably had the toughest draw, I think, Jay, in terms of those guys, in terms of limited time. And Tillman his size is what he is at this point, and offensively, like, he just hasn't been there. So I wonder if you get more of Minot and that allows you to play more of Walsh, more of Ugo, like, opens the door to, like, kind of the more frantic style of play I think Joe Mazzulla wants.
So
like with this group, is that viable against more teams here? I don't know.
I think it could be, but I also like it's one thing to be really small. It's another thing to be really small with several non-shooters on the court. And it worked against the Wizards partly because they're the Wizards, partly because Minot hit 3 threes. But realistically, if you go small, that small, and you're playing Josh Minot at center, Jaylen Brown might be one of your other wings. But then it's Jordan Walsh, not a shooter. Baylor Shireman, not proven to be a shooter at the NBA, though he had a reputation as a shooter.
Can I pause you right there? What was the hell was Baylor Shireman thinking in the first quarter against the Wizards?
This is what Baylor Shireman does. He pulls from 35. This is what he does.
First shot of the game. He wasn't in rhythm whatsoever. There's 18 left on the shot clock. It was insane.
He takes cold checks.
And so maybe it isn't like Jordan. I don't know if Jordan and Baylor can play together.
Yeah, what about Hauser at the 4?
Okay, so you throw Ugo out there. Ugo, not convinced he can shoot either. You literally, maybe it's Hauser, but like
Hauser's smaller.
I just feel when you go to these small lineups, there's a real danger to being super small and also not having shooting. And not having these guys aren't like gifted guys off the bounce or anything. Like you're not going to give Minot the ball and he's going to create. You're not going to give Jordan Walsh the ball and he's going to create. You're not going to give Baylor Shireman the ball.
But they're better defenders, though, Jay. They're better defenders.
100%. Yes. But I just think there's a real danger to being super small and having guys who can't play offense. And I just think you're choosing from two bad options. Whether you stay big and just try that, or I don't think their small lineups are super viable. Maybe if you get the right
mix. They
have
one big lineup. It involves Nimi.
Like the lesser of two evils. It's like at this point, I agree with you. Like it's not. I wouldn't appeal. Like this is not going small. Has generally not worked well or long term. But just the lack of alternatives right now. Like I just want to see it for like a 3 or 4 game stretch just to see what it looks like, to be honest.
You'd have to have such a disruptive defense. Like you'd have to be turning people over left and right. And maybe that's what would happen if they unleash that and ramp up the pressure.
Yeah.
But I'm not sold on that group yet. I'm not sold on the backup bigs either. let's get this clear. But I'm not like itching to see more Minot, Walsh, Shireman minutes either.
Yeah, no, it's fair. Like the offense, I guess for me, it's like the offense has been so bad with most of the backup bigs that it's like you're not even. It's like there's no roller on this team outside of Nimi. Like Minot's probably your second best like roller. So like if you do some pick and roll and get him cutting from the corners, and I don't know, like I would rather see younger guys get bigger chances right now than Chris Boucher play big minutes or Xavier Tillman play big minutes. Luka Garza, like he's here for a couple years now. We'll see what he like. We're not going to judge him on a 10-game sample size here, but outside of him crashing the offensive glass very well, which he has for his whole career, it's tough to like justify giving him more time than a lot of these guys on the fringe of the rotation right now.
What has anybody else done to say it's tough to justify that? Honestly,
I mean,
like Jordan Walsh had like 10 good minutes against the Wizards.
They were pretty good though.
But he hasn't played other than that though, Jay. It's like he hasn't had a chance. Like Garza's had a chance here for like all season. He's got consistent minutes for like 9 or 10 straight games. He had a couple good games in there.
Do you forget what he did against the Pelicans, bro?
The Pelicans are the most sorry franchise in the
NBA.
They've
won 2 straight. Derek Queen's a superstar.
And that Pacers pick they traded is going to be really come back to bite them.
Not as good as Derek Queen, bro. Derek Queen is out here killing dudes.
You've always been a Queen believer. All right, B-Rob, hit us with the next stat.
I have not been a Queen believer, but he's looking good.
Next stat. This is just a general looking across the roster here. Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, all maxing out at 31 minutes per game through 9 games of this season. Jaylen obviously has had the hamstring thing. Does that number what do you guys feel about that now? I'll just throw it out there for just like
I think
where that's at. Is that going to stay there? Is that just what it is for what this season is?
I think that's going to be sort of the new norm around the NBA. You see a lot of coaches that are playing guys shorter stints that are trying to cut down, the minutes for their key guys. Celtics are playing 11, 12 guys some nights. And also, given what this season is, given that you're not a contender, I think it's smart not to load up all these minutes for Jaylen Brown, Derek White. Don't beat them into the ground. You need to keep them healthy for the long run, one, but also you need to keep them. Don't just put so many miles, especially playing this style that's probably harder on the body, picking guys up full court all the time and trying to play a little faster, all that. I think it's smart not to play them as much. But also they've had like a couple blowouts already, and one way or the other, like the Houston game. So I think it'll be higher than it is right now. But I also think, like, Jalen's never played a ton of minutes. He was always at like 35, 36, even when guys played more minutes. But I truly believe it's going to be a trend in the NBA that the Pacers, that the Thunder are helped to start where top guys are going to play less and less.
I feel like Derek White needs to start scoring the basketball if you're going to be like feel comfortable with this, because when Jalen's on the bench, it feels like they just have a much tougher time getting easy offense, and he's just been dominant in the mid range this year. But like
when Pritchard was in foul trouble the other day, they had a lineup that had no Pritchard, no White, and no Jalen against Washington. I was like, whoa. That
was a very, very dark first quarter.
Despicable, yeah.
It did. It immediately got despicable. And so it's like, if they can score, and when Jalen's off the bench with like Derek White stepping up, like I think echoing everything Jay said, it's like good to keep those minutes down. At some point, it's just like I feel like a couple times this season in the fourth quarter, it's just been like, when is Jalen going to check back in? The offense looks terrible. When is Jalen going to track again? They just need an easy bucket. And like, I feel like the expectation heading into the season was like, Jalen's on the bench. You stagger those minutes. You have Derek White run the offense, and he just hasn't really been able to get it going whatsoever. And so I think they ideally don't want to just like rely on Jalen and load him heavy minutes. But at some point, when does that competitive fire light in and be like, all right, just Jalen, get back out there, and like, because we need to get buckets right now.
Yeah, that it'll be fascinating to see when that emerges. But I'm with Jan. I think this is a very promising development for the long term for the season, of like everyone from Joe to these guys, just like even Jalen, I think, talked about it post game a little bit Wednesday night, just understanding like, I want to be healthy. It's a long way to go. Like, and he's not 25 years old anymore. And so putting on needless miles on the tires, even in like last night against Wade, he didn't play the fourth quarter. Like that, those are going to be more conscious decisions like that. I feel like in either direction.
Was it the game against Philly when Ugo was playing pretty well and they kept Jalen on the bench for like 10 or 11 straight minutes, whatever it was? Like,
right.
That's smart sometimes. If you're getting away with it, and granted, they almost
choked away that Philly game when Jalen's on the bench. So I don't know if it was that smart.
What did you guys think? Maybe I'm the only one who even thought about this for more than 2 seconds. But what did you guys think of Joe pulling Peyton Pritchard after he got 2 fouls in like a minute? Did you think that was a no-brainer, or did you think, like I did, that Peyton Pritchard averages less than 2 fouls per game, and that you're probably just putting him in artificial foul trouble when really, like, he's not going to foul out of the game? And I think he ended up with 2. He might have gotten a third, but it was like you took him out of the game for what was it, 10, 12 minutes, and cost yourself probably a pretty bad first quarter because of it. And meanwhile, this is a guy who hardly ever fouls. It's not like Washington has guys that are going to be targeting Peyton Pritchard and like going after him and testing him and potentially putting a third foul on him or making him, kind of back up, play a little, lackadaisically because he's trying to avoid that foul. I just think coaches, and this is not just about Joe, but I think a lot of coaches just go with like the conventional look at foul trouble when it really should be a person by person basis. And Peyton Pritchard, for the most part, is never going to foul out and is never going to, like, he picked up 2 ones. It was very unusual. And if you played him the rest of the game, he probably would have finished with 3 or 4.
Yeah, I was very surprised like that. Like, I don't know whether it's just like, okay, let's see how Simons responds in this situation with the starting 5. Like, we can get a look with that group and this is an excuse to do that with Pritchard hitting 2. So, but your project, I think like that's a move that Joe makes this year. He wouldn't have made, I think, the last couple of years. I think that's like maybe, again, a way to control minutes when stuff like that comes up, or just get a look at different lineups. Obviously, it didn't go well, but when it comes to winning now with this group, like the margin of error of like trying stuff like that versus winning games, I think, is coming to the forefront now. As we've seen the dominoes form more in terms of what this team can and can't do, and right now, playing any type of minutes without Pritchard, Derek, and Jalen out there you're pretty much drawing dead.
Has Joe ever explained his philosophy on foul trouble? He's not really very forward about anything.
Anything?
Forthright.
Yeah,
like Brad used to just leave guys in the game. Brad would very much go against the normal like foul trouble,
Conventional wisdom.
the conventional wisdom, and he would just leave guys out there. And he said it was because he thought like that you could ruin a guy's rhythm by taking him out, and then not only do you maybe put him in like fake foul trouble, but then when he gets back out there, he's not in rhythm, he's not in the flow, and you've ruined the minutes after he gets back out there, as well as the minutes when you took him out. So, I would love to hear Joe kind of tell us his thoughts on that, but I don't think he ever would.
If only you had an opportunity to ask Joe questions before and after every game.
Yeah, I'll ask him next game.
There you go. I mean, I Pritchard checked out at like the 11:42 or after 46 seconds, and I thought nothing of it. It's like, oh, you picked up 2, but considering what you mentioned about him just like averaging 2 fouls a game, and considering how badly they played in that bleak first quarter, I definitely think it's a move you can second guess at this point. B-Rob, how many more stats?
It's not even a real second guess. It's just like
Curiosity.
I think there's another way to possibly play it.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm sitting here like Joe's an idiot. Joe sat Peyton Pritchard with 2 fouls in the first minute. I think almost any coach would do that, but I also wonder if sometimes maybe you shouldn't do that.
Fair enough.
B-Rob, stat number 4.
All right, so this is a double. We'll do 2 to knock it out.
4 and 5.
4 and 5. I want to bring up first one is for Packard, the 2-point daddy, Sam Hauser, this year has opened, I believe, 1. Do you want to guess? I'll let you guess, Packard. What do you think he's shooting?
1 for 4? Like, I feel like he hasn't taken any 4 or 2-point shots. I feel like the real 2-point daddies are Peyton Pritchard and Jalen Brown.
Yeah, we'll get to them. 1 of 7, Packard. So Sam, but Hauser is shooting 38.5% from 3-point range, 14% for 3. So so can we retire the 2-point daddy? Is that officially?
Yeah, he is no longer.
It's been moved to Peyton Pritchard.
Some would argue he never was the 2-point daddy. It was Gordon Hayward initially, and then it was never Sam Hauser. I apologize for ever trying to bestow the name upon him.
Wow, Justin hitting hard.
Hey,
Peyton
Justin.
Pritchard.
Hey, Justin. Piss off. Justin said, you guys are boring. Please have more life to your shows. Justin Mohan, 7103.
He's got a cool SpongeBob picture. Yeah.
Coward.
Peyton Pritchard, 69.1% shooting from 2-point range, 38 of 55 from the field. compared to 15 of 67 from three-point range. I don't know. He's always been a crafty finisher inside the arc, but this is, I feel like, in the mid-range. I mean, the entire team, I feel like, is killing it to some degree in the mid-range early in the season right now, but his ability to create at the rim and just, like, 2 steps away from the free throw line, pretty much anywhere on the floor right now, is not the story of the first 9 games, but thoroughly a very welcome development amid this three-point shooting slump he's having.
He has been utterly unguardable in the mid-range. Like, guys cannot stay attached to him. Guys cannot prevent him from getting up little 12, 13 footers. And he seems to make almost every single one of them. It's incredible the accuracy he's had on those shots. This is like a 6-footer. He is extremely small compared to everybody else. And he gets in there. His handle's crazy. He just bodies up. He has a really low center of gravity, just bumps guys, creates enough space, and then never misses. The touch he has, like, it has been, and it saved their offense at times. Like, he has been their offense at times. And I think, you know, once he starts hitting threes, he's going to put up some numbers, because the other stuff that he's added to his game that is being, you know, that he's given the freedom to show now that the Celtics are built the way they are. He's doing it at the rim. He's doing it in the mid-range. And one day he'll do it at the 3, because he's not a bad three-point shooter. He's a great three-point shooter. He's always been a great three-point shooter. He's always done it on tough shots, too. It's not like last year he was getting all easy shots. No, Peyton Pritchard was hitting nonsense last year 41% of the time. It's going to even out, and this new mid-range game that he's showing is, like, he's really, really hard to guard, and he's going to be one of the very, very key parts of this offense all season long.
Their offense is him and Jalen in the mid-range, like going one-on-one. Jalen's was phenomenal. He's been shooting so efficiently in the mid-range, and I think their three-point attempts, I think I saw a stat, or like a three-point attempt rate is down just because they've adjusted a little bit, but it does seem like their go-to offense at this point is Peyton Pritchard working guys one-on-one and Jaylen Brown just like getting to his spots at elbow line extended, and he's been phenomenal. The question I have, where's Derek White from the, like, he's not hitting from 3, but where's like the Derek White floater? Where's the, like, him doing anything in the paint? I was shocked. I just looked up his basketball reference. He's taking more 2s a game than he has ever in his career, but his percentage is way down. He's less than
38
40%.
Before the last game. Yeah.
It's up
He
to
hit
39,
2 layups.
39.6.
He had 2 layups late, and he's now at 39.6. But, like, where has that been? That part of his game? Because it feels like it has not been there, especially when he's struggling from 3. I kind of would like to see him drive more.
That's what they have to free up. That they have to find ways, whether it's, do you use Minot as a screener? Do you use, you know, more pick and rolls with Keita and then keep feeding him, and then it opens things up for Derek? Do you use Jalen more as a screener? Like, that's what they have to figure out, because he should not just be 38% from inside the arc. And that I think is not just on him. I think it's on the stuff they're running, the actions they're running, and they have to do a better job of freeing him up, because he's not a one-on, like, Peyton Pritchard is a one-on-one guy. Peyton Pritchard, like, you put basically any defender on him, give him unlimited dribbles, he's gonna find a way to get a bucket. Whereas Derek White is like, he's just not.
You got to run pick and roll
guy.
for him.
He's
going to his Ray.
He's an incredible.
He's
an incredible function of an offense. He's an incredible straight line driver. He's an incredible at playing off guys. He's incredible at doing a lot of things. But, like, pure one-on-one game, whether it's against switches, whether it's against pure isolation, like, that's just not his game. And so they have to do a better job of giving him just a little advantage so that he can capitalize on it.
100%. And so that's again, when you look at the second units too and the options of who you're going to play, I just seeing if he's not going to be on the floor if need me, I'd like to see him run more stuff with mine out there if they do give this small ball look, an extended look in the next few games, because when you leave White out there with Garza or Tillman and non-shooters around him, that's when it's not going to help him break out of the slump. We'll put it that way.
All right, before we go, there's one thing I got to bring up. Jaylen Brown got caught with a hair paint again on another guy. And, like, I thought he played it
on AI.
I mean, yeah, he plays it well, very like he owns up to his mistakes every time. But at what point do you stop painting the hair on? Like, this is going to be happen. Like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on me again. Fool me 3 times, Jaylen, then the shame is back on you. Like, at what point does this stop? Can he just like accept what his hairline is? Like, it's getting ridiculous at this point.
Let's go with the whole season with it. Just lean all the way into it.
Do, but like it's just ridiculous. I haven't seen it happen.
I thought Keyshawn George's reaction to it was so funny. He was like looking at his shirt, like, what? And you know they saw the hoopla about Jaylen Brown's hair on Twitter, whatever, the other day. And so when it happened to him, he's like, I'm part of history now.
Well, now he's no longer part of history because it's just going to happen regularly. Like OG Anunoby, he was history. But now it's just a normal function that we can expect to see from Jaylen every 3 games when he puts his head down on a drive. Like, it's just not a – at what point does it stop being funny and just start being sad is my question. Or is it sad already? How vain are we as a society that he feels the need to paint on his hair every single game? Questions maybe Still Poddable doesn't have an answer to. Maybe you come to us for basketball analysis and not social commentary. Who knows?
You're really bringing me down. I had a great day at Disney, and now we're just talking about the vanity of society and the sadness of Jaylen Brown's hair paint or whatever it is.
Well, here's the thing about Still Poddable. It's 3 guys with great hairlines, and so you're not going to have to worry about paint on the hair.
Pretty charitable to be Rob here.
And I was gonna say that's 2 guys with really good hairline. One is
I was trying to be nice to end out the show.
Packard.
Hey, you just teed me up. I don't think you were trying to be nice. I think you were trying to tee me up because you knew I would slam home the alley.
You know what? Sometimes you gotta be a pass first point guard. Sometimes you gotta see the floor. And so, do what we can here on Still Poddable. We appreciate everyone tuning in on the CLNS network, everyone tuning in live on Twitter. If you want more of us, you can get us where you get podcasts, Spotify, Apple. Find us on the YouTubes. You can find us on Twitter at Still Poddable. If you want more Still Poddable, if you want game recaps, if you want little podcasts from the press conferences, if you want reporting from 2 of the best beat reporters covering the Boston Celtics, go to patreon.com/stillpoddable. We got 5 podcasts a week on there. You can also get these podcasts ad-free. So the place to be is patreon.com/stillpoddable. Great community of people there who are chatting along in the games. It's kind of the new place I go during the games instead of Twitter because Twitter is a dying entity. So come join the fun, send some memes, enjoy the Still Poddable community. Get the bonus coverage there on patreon.com/stillpoddable. Or you can just find us here on the CLNS network or everywhere you get podcasts. For Jay down in Orlando, for B-Rob with the great hairline, I'm Sam Packard. Appreciate you guys tuning in to this episode of Still Poddable.
Still Poddable, Still Poddable. The Boston Still Poddable, Still Poddable.
Oh, yeah.
Slow down from eating and drinking and all that wild stuff.